We good? We good? We good? Alright, today is November 20th, 2023. Let this meeting of the Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS Budget Committee come to order. Does everybody have an opportunity to read the minutes of October 30th? Any corrections? Changes? Did it be good?
Make a motion to accept the October 30th minutes as presented.
Second. Last time we did.
Yes. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I was an aye too. All right. Did you abstain?
Abstained.
We have an
Yeah.
abstention. All right. So we have been handed out a new copy
Yes.
of the proposed budget that the commissioners completed. My suggestion, because I think we're going to discuss it the longest, is that we tackle salaries first. What do you think? Or we can start at the beginning and just go right through it like we normally do.
Start easy.
Start easy, then let's start at the beginning.
This is really page 3.
Yes. Well, those are all based on your salary line, right?
No, if you start at the top, 4130 executive, that's the commissioners, the clerk, the treasurer, and the moderator.
Right, but that's,
The commissioners set those rates.
Yes.
I was looking more down at health insurance and group life insurance, and I assume those are based on your salary.
Some of the group insurances are, Social Security, Medicare, and retirement are.
Does anybody have anything they want to discuss or question on page 3?
Do we have a clerk or a treasurer right now? I know that
We do have a treasurer, and that is Tim Pearson, and Stephanie has been graciously acting as our clerk, but we still are looking for one.
Okay.
Do you know anybody?
No, I was just, I mean, I know we had the topic last time about the line item for the salary, and it looks like it's bumped up again. Is that in anticipation that maybe somebody will take it?
We're hoping that someone will take it.
Okay.
We've been trying, we've advertised,
Hmm.
but I can't, Stephanie won't do it for any less than that, so.
Gotcha.
She has added responsibilities now.
Yeah, she does, so we might even,
Well, this,
Town administrator.
She's the acting town administrator.
yeah,
oh, is she?
yes.
Ken left. He went to Raymond as the town manager.
She's town manager?
No, Ken, who was the town administrator in Northfield, went to Raymond and became the town manager of Raymond.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know he was from down there.
Legal, you might have covered it last time I wasn't here, but I see there's a big swing in changes. What are we
Yes.
anticipating for this year?
So we had,
What did you?
the money for the trial, or what we think we're going to spend for the trial, we've been invoiced for, and so that's in, whatever Blaze Speak is, a reserve. They have
A retainer.
retainer.
Okay,
So they have a retainer for what they think the cost of the trial's gonna be. So, and that happened after I put my suggestion in, and then the commission said, well, let's just put that, 10,000 there, and that should cover us for the rest of the year, for any other things. And if whatever we don't use in the retainer will be refunded to us as credit anyway, so.
So the commissioners encumbered funds from 23?
Yeah.
Actually, we got an
We
invoice,
paid a
so.
retainer.
Well, that's encumbered in
Yes.
funds,
Yeah,
Yes.
because the work hasn't been done. But you
Right.
encumbered, how much did you encumber?
Is it 25?
28.
So
28,000.
we'll give you 38. Okay. Nice little chunk of savings.
and that's a final number for the insurance, 15.6%.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought those were capped at. They're not capped for you guys?
No.
Oh,
For anybody. So it's based on when you renew, so was it
Yeah,
July?
January, we're in the January group. I don't know what Laconia is, if they're in the January, or do they get this stuff through Health Trust, or?
Yeah, interlocal trust, yeah. There's a cap there, is what I'm asking.
So
There's a
it's
specific amount.
Depending upon when you renew, right? I suspect you're probably a July,
Yeah, July 1st.
yeah, so different rates for different times.
The insurance that they do cap is the property and liability as well as the workers' comp. That's Primex.
Health insurance is a different thing, altogether, different company.
So we voted on this 4155 total personal administration. Right now?
No, we got to vote 4130, 4050, and 53. I make a motion, we approve lines 4130, 4140, 4150, and 4153, commissioners' amounts.
I'll second that.
Let's get us into discussion.
All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
No discussion?
So,
Second, oh, right, sorry.
Yeah, so the motion's made, second, now you can have discussion.
Who made the second?
I did.
Okay.
yes, just, no, he's right, discussion.
Channel Peter Farr.
Very. Say that, then she'll come in to do her taxes at the last second.
We get sued tomorrow.
Guess what I've been doing?
But, so for discussion, so this 30,000 of Mike's legal, chief, that's the retainer?
No, that's what I proposed before we got the invoice for the retainer. Because we only spent approximately $11,000 so far this year out of the 40, so there's like 29 and change left. And so they invoiced us for $28,000 for costs of the trial and the expert that they have to counter the water district's expert and testimony and stuff like that. So that's the most that they think it will cost. But
Do we have 20,000 left over from 2023?
The commissioner's encumbered,
well, it's not really encumbered, it's gone.
that's encumbered.
No,
The
not when we
service
receive.
has not been performed.
Yeah, but the
You
money's
have-
not in our account anymore.
That's right, that's why it's encumbered. It's gone.
It's in the attorney's
You
account.
used 23 money, but it's technically being encumbered because the service hasn't been performed.
It's an invoice that was paid.
It's for a service that's gonna take place next year.
So it's a retainer, a legal retainer, which is a fee.
Yeah. But anyway, they used 23 money, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And anything that's not used will
No, but I think it's good.
It's like,
Don't you?
be fine. I'm trying to stay positive.
This is
Jeff.
Oh, they are not going to look at that tonight.
Yep.
We've been having a nightmare with
Yes.
retaining wall.
Well, we have a retainer now, so it's good.
Anyway, I'm sorry, we deviated. Any other questions on any of those lines or discussion?
So you motioned down
Through the commission's numbers.
through 4153, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Going once, going twice, sorry. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. What is New Hampshire State Fireman's Insurance? I mean, how does that compare with,
It's
you've got disability,
it's
you've
a
got
life and disability.
group line of duty, life insurance, long-term disability, so what is that?
So it's a supplemental plan for all the elected officials and firefighters and call firefighters. It costs like $28 a year per person and provides a benefit if there's a disability or death involved.
Is that something the state basically funds?
No.
Or
It's-
that
it's
the company just calls it New Hampshire State?
Well, it's put together by the New Hampshire Firemen's Association.
Okay. That explains it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions on page 3?
No. I make a motion to approve line 4155 at the commissioner's level.
1,019,496.
Correct.
Well, Social Security, Medicare, retirement are all based on, but not retirement,
Yes.
they are based on.
Retirement is based on career salaries as well.
So since we haven't decided on career salaries, we can't really,
Say again?
okay,
We can go back to it.
okay.
We can go back. If we change
That's fine.
something, you can always go back. And go sideways. Did I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right.
It sounds like you're not going
Two.
to support the salary increase, that's good.
No, I just know the numbers are gonna change and
Brought it
that
up.
potential, no, I'm supporting it.
Oh, okay. Or maybe you want to go higher. Maybe you think it's enough.
Kathy, these actuals, 23 actual is through October?
That is through October, yes.
Why is Park Street Tower getting a jump up in electrical? Is that because more stuff is going on?
Yes. Well, we're putting more stuff in it. Last year, we really didn't have anything in it. Now we have radios and stuff.
You mean Spalding?
No, Park
Close.
Street.
Tower or
She
station?
said Park Street Towers.
I said Park Street's tower.
They-
The
they-
actual last year was 47 and it went up to 1,000.
But we appropriated 1,000 last year.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't go online.
They never hooked it up.
Yeah.
Installed. So, Chief, why is your forecast for electricity more optimistic than the commissioners? Looks like all the lines for electricity, like you were thinking it might be.
You give me a line.
Top of page
Top
4,
of the page.
electricity.
Yeah, so they're looking at what our rates were so far this year and dividing by a certain number and then
Yeah.
multiplying by 12, and they're coming up with something that was closer to what they suggested.
I mean, do you feel it was gonna climb, is that?
The electric rates, when I put these together, I thought they were gonna climb,
Yeah.
but I have since learned that they're probably gonna stay about the same or not go up as much as I anticipated.
I worry about that, that's why
Me
I asked,
too.
you know?
Me too.
Are you allowed to lock in like direct energy or a third-party company?
Yes,
Is that what you guys do?
yes.
Okay.
The problem with them is our contracts usually end in the middle of a fiscal year, and we don't really know what they're gonna say for the, the second half or second third of, the last third of a quarter and stuff like that, so.
Can you keep the lights on with the budgets proposal?
Yes, I hope so. Well, we will. They'll just, they'll have to adjust other lines because there's so many things that are really just non-discretionary. It's just, it is what it is, to be fixed.
What's the lead paint prep line? It looks like you were 9,500, commissioners were 0.
Yeah, they decided they didn't want to do that project. So that's the Center Street Fire Station, the whole outside of it is lead paint. It's all flaking off and stuff like that, but they're anticipating a new fire station soon, so they didn't want to put that much money into it.
I won't be surprised.
Yeah.
Being optimistic is one.
Nice to be optimistic.
You have to be.
What is the heat at the Park Street and Center Street? Are they both gas?
They're all
Yes.
gas, natural gas.
Natural gas? You only used $1,829 in '23,
We're not done.
3,200. You're not there, but you used 1,980 in '22, 1,851, and natural gas gone up. I thought that was staying pretty even.
Oh, it's supposed to go up this year.
Natural gas is supposed to go down.
Pardon?
Natural gas is supposed to go down. Just the forecast.
I don't know, I use wood.
Natural wood.
And what's the repair lawn for the Park Street, it looks like?
Yes, so what happened there is, in the site analysis for the construction of a building possibly in the area to the left of the fire station, they brought a big machine in and did some borings and stuff like that and tore up all the lawn outs like this. And so when we tried to mow it, it was like, it's a buckboard. So, here he is. And so I got King Partridge give me an estimate to what it would cost to make it smooth and reseed it.
But would that area be tore up if the building gets approved for that area, or would that be untouched if or when that
A
was?
lot of it would stay untouched, but some of it would be touched, depending upon how big a building it would require. That's bond.
Sorry for that, Mike.
That's okay.
Apologies.
So it's interesting to me, you've got zero in there to take care of lead paint, but you still have 5,500 for just general maintenance?
That's like every year, but as you know, the building is quite old and stuff happens all the time that we need to take care of. Whether it's, the toilet went bad, or the dishwasher is broke and you have to replace it, or it's just stuff.
What about the station sign, is that for the one on Park Street? Like
Yes.
out the big one out front?
Yes.
What is this access control system? I mean, I know what it probably is, but it didn't have,
Park Street does not.
when you just open the door with a key and walk in?
It's like a code.
Punch.
3-digit code.
3-digit code.
So what are you doing different?
We're gonna create, like, we need the fob, electronic lock.
See this on the phone? That's the door key.
How interesting.
It's the same as like trying to get in the police station. Let you in, or they can lock you out too.
Have you had a problem with people getting in there that shouldn't be?
Do you want people sleeping upstairs overnight and have the doors unlocked? I think the security system is pretty important.
So what happens is we have a turnover of employees, but the combination stays the same, and they tell people what the combination is, and then we have to try and change the combination. Then we have to tell everybody what the new combination is. Not everybody gets the picture right away, and then they go there for a call, and they can't get in the building. Hey, I can't get in the building anymore.
Very good argument. That sounds like a personnel issue, not a hardware issue.
Well, this will take care of that.
It's much easier for me to talk into the computer and say, disabled. You no longer
Fold
have
it off the
access.
That makes no
Well, we can-
perfect sense when you say that. You could have 1,000 people knowing that code.
That's true.
And
Or
I
more.
would say about 1,000 people probably do know it. Because
Yeah.
everybody walks in there that shouldn't be in there because they want to get the water out of there or one thing or another.
All right, any more questions on page 3? Or no, I'm not on page 4, I'm on page 4.
You're on page 4.
That's an hour difference.
Yeah, they didn't turn it back.
What time did you start the meeting?
Pardon?
What time did you start the meeting?
10 past 5.
10 past 5.
10 past 5. What time was the meeting supposed to start?
5.
I'm sorry. I was thinking it was 5:30.
We've always started at 5.
That's all the other meetings are.
Yeah.
I know every other meeting probably starts at 6, so all my others do.
I'm really sorry.
It's all right, we waited a little bit, so you're not that far behind.
He's home, had another beer.
Oh,
Good time.
Well, I've taken my page to page 5. So you guys can,
And this general government building does continue on page 5.
it's all right.
I'm assuming it looks like for the double line for 430 is up about 50,000. I'm assuming that's just because of mainly cost of goods, everything, inflation. I'm sure that's tied into a good chunk of this whole
So
line.
we have a Federal Communications Tower. 53903 is a grant that we received to add a microwave link in. And so we have to account for it in the budget, but we're gonna be reimbursed for it on the back end. So that's basically the difference.
Yeah, on page 1, you'll see that highlighted in yellow,
Okay, yeah.
and that's where the money will go to offset.
And that's a 53,903, you said?
Yes.
Has that been, it's been received, you said? Okay.
We were granted the grant,
Okay.
awarded the grant.
For how much?
53.
The 53, oh, okay.
But we have to have the money to spend to receive the funds.
Yeah, you have to spend it before you get it back. So
So where would that money go when it comes back, technically?
it goes back
To
to,
the,
it's reimbursing our expense. So it's a net zero.
It'll show up under grants applied for and received, but at the end of the year, when they do the taxes, it shows up as a wash.
oh, okay.
So, there's no tax base affecting that.
I make a motion, we accept the line 4194 at 122,014.
Second.
How much? The 93?
14.
Any more discussion?
Okay, thank
Little general government buildings, oh my God, I got it.
you. You did.
4194?
All right,
That's what we're voting
all
on.
those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying
What about
aye.
discussion? I was just asking a question. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're voting
I don't
on-
hear well out of this ear.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll holler. We're voting on 4194,
Correct.
which is an accumulation of what?
At the top of page 4,
430.
all till about the middle of 5.
I guess what I'd like to do is review what the differences are between the commissioner's budget and the, because you're proposing we accept the commissioner's budget.
Correct.
And I guess what I'd like to know is what's the difference between the commissioner's budget and the mayor's budget?
The main thing is the lead paint restoration or removal at the Center Street Fire Station, and a difference in some of the utility, electricity and fuel costs.
Why is there such a discrepancy, for instance, on 410 electricity?
So
You must have not come in yet.
we had a discussion.
That's all right. No, no,
It's okay.
no, you got it, that's fine.
When I put this
Motion
budget
10,
together,
you go right ahead.
I thought the electric rates were going to be higher than they were.
Oh, it's electricity on the other side.
The rates
It's on
are
page
going to
4.
be
Top of 4.
fairly similar to what they are now, and we took an average of what we do so far, divided by 10, then multiplied by 12 to come up with that number, and the same with the gas.
It's in the same with heating fuel?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. Thank you.
I couldn't remember when you came in. It's like, I had the same question.
And that's the majority of that discrepancy. It's like a $19,000 difference.
Yes.
I think that's it for my discussion, Captain. Thank you.
What?
I think that's the end of my discussion. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right. Motions to accept the commissioner's amount in line 4194 of $122,114.
122.
Pardon?
122,
122.
not 172.
Oh, 122, 114, I can read it now. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, next. Here we go.
about any
control of
insurance?
I would imagine.
No.
That's all pretty much
It
fixed.
is
So
what it is.
I make a motion to accept 4196 at the Commissioners 102-211.
Second.
Total insurance?
Yes.
All those in favor of the, any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, moving right along.
Workers' comp always works backwards a year, so
Yeah.
Pardon?
you're paying your exposure, they're looking at your last 4 quarters, so you can't, it's not tied to future payroll.
Correct.
So that's the warm-up, here we are, the big league. It's the opening act.
I'm looking for my information on
Yeah,
the
you-
comparisons.
This is the updated survey that we use to determine
Each been another one.
pay.
No.
There you go. That's-
Thank you.
So are we discussing 4220 now? Not
Yes.
100?
Yeah. Yes, we're in salaries and wages, or,
I think we kind of talked about this the other night, to some extent. I know Charlie wasn't here, but the chief kind of threw this out. We didn't discuss it formally as a line item on the budget, but I think the chief threw out in our last meeting that it was upcoming. And we did discuss it to some extent at that time.
So is it 2338, is that the starting, what the proposed starting pay would be?
Yes.
And then, do you feel, I guess, I am familiar with a lot of this in other aspects of what I do, and if Guilford's going up to $27 an hour, I think it's going to be 26 something and change just under, do you really think that by next year that would be an adequate number?
No, I don't think it is either.
I think my word is that that's not gonna be enough. Is there any way we could bump the starting salary up without adjusting everything up?
They're all tied together.
So our pay scales, we have a salary schedule. And everything's based on that one rate with the officers and where they are and everything. If you change that one rate, everything changes. But if you, it's just the way the commissioners have it. They've accepted this.
If you got hired last year at $21 and then they hired the next guy at 25, how would you feel? You'd quit and then come back.
Well, that's kind of what's
In all
happening.
fairness.
Well, I've seen adjustments in larger municipalities to get this
Yeah.
scale up. They take them in, the bottom guys wouldn't lose that, they would just go to that new higher
Yeah.
scale, is what could happen. Because it's,
But here, it seems, it pushes everybody up, no matter from, right?
Yes, the whole,
Right.
we're not a very large department, so it doesn't,
Yeah.
so what would the, I don't know, like, what would the math be if we bumped that up even higher for the whole budget? Do you have like a $1 equals?
yeah, so I had some other percentages and different methods of increasing the thing. One of the things I was looking at was instituting a stipend based because if you have education, you have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or a PhD, you get a percentage increase on your base pay for having that. I looked at doing a longevity percentage incentive, so I looked at a couple different ones where for every year after 5 years, you get a 1% raise on your base for a year, or another one that I use, which is very common from where I come from, is after every 5 years, you get a 3% raise on your base pay. So you get a raise at 5 years, you get another 3% raise after 10 years, and they all max out at 20%. The other incentive program I was looking at was incentive pay based on additional certifications beyond what is required to get the job. So say we require firefighter 1, firefighter 2, hazmat operations and stuff like that, EMT stuff. So we already do one for paramedics. We don't require people to be paramedics, but we want them. So paramedics get a 10% stipend above what their base pay is. For other certifications, say ice rescue technician, we would pay you like 1%. For some of the a little more harder technician courses, say swift water, which is a little more involved, maybe 2% for something like that. And then for other certifications, say if you've got the chief fire officer or chief emergency medical officer designation or an EFO designation, you would probably get 3% for something like that. It's,
How many paramedics do we have?
currently, yeah, six. And we have one in school.
You have 6 paramedics.
More than
Four
one
shifts.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, it's, we're very fortunate right now. And we have one in school on a grant, so it's not really even costing us to send one to this primary school.
Did that person have to sign a 5-year agreement also?
Yes. Because there are costs involved, but it's not like what the last person who sent to primary school for their cost.
I'm shocked that you have such a highly skilled and qualified staff. Not shocked, I'm surprised and very thankful that we have that level of support. Do you know, in some of these surrounding towns, are you familiar with their staffing? Do they have a paramedic on every shift?
Well, some of the ones like Belmont does not, Franklin does not, Sandwichton does not. Those are the ones immediately around us. Laconia does, of course. And the other medics that we would use on any basis at all would be the guys from Concord Fire. If we don't have one on duty, we might have to grab one of theirs on our way to Concord Hospital.
So you said Belmont, Franklin, who else did not?
Sandwichton.
So that incentive and stuff that you were just talking about, would that be in addition to what this number is here, you're thinking? Like, or longevity, or,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So when you do the posting for the advertisement, you could post it at, if they had all that stuff.
If they have those additional certifications that would, like, say like we start a paramedic at, would be 10% more than this. This is the base non-paramedic. So if I advertise for a paramedic, this is where we'll start with instead. But right now, at the last 4 openings, I haven't been able to get a paramedic. And in fact, I've only been able to hire basic EMTs, not even advanced EMTs.
So that 2338, let's say they had Swift Water and a couple other, let's say they had a big package of it, what would they go up to under that?
Depending upon how many of those certifications, I had like 13 or 14 certifications on that list. I don't know if I have it with me tonight, because the commissioners, we didn't really discuss it with the commissioners. And so I don't think I brought it with me tonight.
That might be a good middle ground to try to get that starting pay up, but not.
Yeah, compensation options.
So right now, there is no incentives at all,
Oh, except for
except for the paramedic.
paramedic. Yeah, so if you had, a degree, you would get, associate's degree is 5%, a bachelor's degree was 10%, a master's degree was 15%, and a PhD was 20%. The longevity ones was, the one I kind of settled on in my head was the 3% after every 5 years, capping out at 20%. And then the other certification ones was, depending upon what type of certification it was either 1, 2, or 3%.
So all those incentive proposals, are they in these numbers, in the budget?
No.
If it's starting there?
No. So the ones I had at 1% was swift water, ropes, confined space, ice rescue, trench rescue, pump operator, aerial operator, inspector 1, inspector 2, instructor 1, 2 and 3, fire officer 1 and 2. Fire investigator was 2%, hazmat tech was 2%, incident safety officer was 2%, executive fire officer was 3%, chief EMS officer was 3%, and chief fire officer was 3%.
Those are in the budget,
They're not in the budget.
this proposal, future.
Chief, on any of those trainings and certifications, at whose expense? The department or
So currently, the
50/50 or?
currently department pays for, if you want to get ice rescue, we pay for that.
Yeah.
We pay for you to go in the course.
Okay.
But any, like, if you want to get your associate's degree,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. There's, you know, so there's no like tuition reimbursement thing for that stuff, but it's.
There is no, there's nothing.
No, I mean, or even assistance or anything like that.
Except-
Okay.
except for
No, that's fine.
Except for paramedics.
Right, because it's job.
Right, well, they have a
And-
program where
We got it paid out of the apparatus and equipment fund because that was a whole discussion one year.
Yeah. And the paramedics, when we provide paramedic service, ALS service, we also get reimbursed at a higher rate for
Right.
our billing.
Yeah.
So it pays back very quickly.
All right, so department pays for the cost of the training. Is it on the candidates or the trainees' own time or they get paid OT?
They get paid OT.
There's really no downside to
No,
not.
that's so,
Yeah,
that was just one of the avenues I was looking at. If we were going to do an incentive, I prefer an educational incentive, for degrees, because, well, to put it simply, like when we do a promotional process, we make the candidates do a lot of writing,
Right.
and you can tell which ones went to college and
Yeah.
which ones didn't.
Sure.
And they write so much better. They write their incident reports are so much better and complete and better understandable of what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
So I think it would serve us better having an educational incentive.
Right.
And if you're trying to keep people, a longevity incentive also helps. You know, instead of losing people after 5 years because it's better to go somewhere else after 5 years, you give them that little extra bump and maybe they'll stay. Right.
So on the appropriated for 2023, the 1.281 million, is that for 3 men per shift, or is that 4 men per shift?
That's at 4 men per shift.
So that includes the grant, the
Yes.
1.2.
Yes.
You must be, this is the last year for that?
We're in the last year, yeah.
February.
Well, actually, February 7th of next year is the last day of it. But we'll expend the money before.
So the 1.47 is including the 4 men
Including the
with no
4 men,
grant.
no grant,
Why,
and a 10.8% pay raise.
yeah.
And I came to 10.8% using this registration that I did. And I actually, I did this in July. I probably should have waited because the numbers changed so dramatically between July and now. That's why $23.38 is where my target was at the point, because of my data at the time. If you look at the data below, what's going on now, or what has happened since I did this study. I do a lot of studies, so.
Well, I 100% support the raise to bring it to 2338. I guess my fear is the response from the public during district meeting. I think when you look at where that puts us in the range of surrounding areas, where that's going to throw us basically in the middle. I don't think we can compare Concord, maybe Hollis, and Gary because of the tax base. So how do we compare, Chief, with respect to, let's look at just the towns up top, Belmont through Alton.
Sure.
How do we compare with them with respect to the number of calls per year?
So Tilton Northfield in the Lakes region us and Franklin are pretty much tied for the second most busiest department in the Lakes region, next to Laconia, which is almost triple our call volume.
So what's your call volume for, you're projected for this year?
About 2,200 calls in that ballpark area, a little more, a little less. Last year it was 22, 44, 45.
Can you say Laconia is 3 times higher than that?
Yeah, I'd say they're going to be around 6,000 calls this year.
Maybe a little less.
55.
Half Woman Blakely?
And do you have supporting numbers on any of the other towns? You said Franklin was the same as us?
Franklin's very similar to us. There might be a few more, a few less. I think they're like, right now they're a little bit ahead of us, especially after yesterday. I'll tell you later. It's not too long. We're ahead of Belmont, we're ahead of Guilford, we're ahead of like everybody else in that respect. We're ahead of Plymouth.
When you look at what wages are in today's business market, $23 an hour doesn't buy you much. And I think for the skill level and the responsibility that we're asking of these ladies and gentlemen, I think 2338 is a bargain.
I'll actually choke on this at some point, but I can't see us being competitive at any less than $25 an hour. We gotta get in, and we gotta get ahead of it, and I just feel like we gotta stay ahead of the curve next year, because who knows what anybody else is gonna do.
Well, that would put us
I don't
with.
know, I've always been about personnel and not about buildings. The talent is,
Sure.
I've had this discussion with trucks. I'm not big on trucks or buildings, but I'm big on talent. That's just me, but I feel we're getting a line. I hate shooting for the middle because that target is going to slide away and we'll be in the bottom third or worse next year. I just feel that.
That's probably true.
But if we aim for the middle and have an incentive package, then that's different. That's creative. That there's not a lot of.
That's what I want. That's what I want to do. I want to add an incentive that nobody else here has.
Nobody's right.
Makes us different. Makes us more
It's
attractive.
innovative, yeah. But it's hard to have. I don't want to be at the front of the pack. I don't want to be at like $27 an hour because there's a. I don't say it's in this profession, but there's a generation at the age of entitlement where they're going to let off the gas and people will just come here and make money and not get certifications, not get into developing their own careers, and not everybody has that mindset, yeah.
The incentive, exactly.
Yeah, the
Just to make them better.
incentive would, get them in the door, but pay them to become professionals. That's a pretty good balance. I wouldn't give them everything just to show up
Yeah.
and not do anything. Because then they're just going to say, well, I'm already making enough. Why would I do this? Why would I train for that? Because there's a crossroads about character and professionalism and all that. And one of them invest in themselves, and if the department invests in them, then that's good too. But I don't know. I feel like 23 is kind of letting off the gas a little bit too.
So what you're saying is you would support 23 plus incentives that would bring it up to
I would support a base rate rounded at 24 or $25 an hour and then add the package. Because if the incentive thing fails, we still gotta be competitive next year.
So I don't know what $25 an hour would be, but I know if we.
We're never gonna compete with Guilford, I get that. But I think we've got to step up and work with the neighbors. I don't know.
So $25 an hour is 18.48%.
It hurts the first year, I know it does. I know it's.
But this chart compares starting entry level, right?
Yes.
So this is based on, what is it still 10%?
10.8%.
10.8%,
10.8.
yes.
So what does it do? I mean, do we know, or are we assuming that all of our employees are getting paid less than anyone else that we're comparing in the communities?
I would assume that. I've never asked what another captain makes.
But
Because
yet, we're proposing that percentage for all of our other
Everybody else, that's-
employees.
I assume, because I come from this environment for more than 40 years now, captains get paid more than lieutenants get paid more than firefighters, and which every department has their spread, whatever that spread is in between rank. It's been like that everywhere. I've worked in 3 different departments now, and I've talked to a bunch of chiefs and how they differentiate the rank and pay. And they're all a little bit different, and our captains make their 8%, let's see, so 5 times 10%. Our captains make 15% more than our firefighters. That's not a lot considering the responsibility that we place on them, but that's where they are.
And now you're gonna put another 10.8% on there.
Well, it's goes up the same for everybody too.
So we don't know how that, we are making an assumption. We don't know what our captains here make compared to Belmont or any of these other communities.
I don't, but I know what the chiefs are making in other communities.
Excuse me?
I know what the chiefs are making in those other communities. Chief pay, we're in the same ratio where we are on the firefighter scale. So like the chief in Guilford gets paid more than I do, the chief in Franklin gets paid more than I do, and the chief in Meredith gets paid more than I do, but I make more than the chief in Belmont, and I make more than the chief in San
And, I mean, let's face it, I could pick 12 communities in the state, and that are all gonna pay less than ours. You see what I mean? I mean, it depends on who you compare us with.
Well, I
And
try
some
to
of these
compare
are
us with,
comparable, but
I try to compare us with the ones we're mostly competitive with in this area, but I throw some others in there just to show you, because we're not really competing locally for firefighters. We're competing statewide for firefighters. If you go on the state's website right now, and the number of firefighting openings right now would astonish you. It's probably 50 firefighter positions open right now, and they're all asking for mostly the same thing. And so we're competing with statewide for all these firefighters.
And you don't have to live super close to the job. If you drive an hour to work a 24-hour shift, then so be it. right?
We have 2 firefighters that live in Vermont. We have
depends on where they live in Vermont, it's about
Burlington and St.
less than
Johnsbury.
an hour away.
How's Burlington and St. Johnsbury?
Burlington's crazy.
So that's where they come from. We have
It's
fire.
been a week here.
So I had one of our call firefighters resign from the call force today because he's a career firefighter in Hudson. He lives here in Tilton, but he commutes to Hudson.
Catherine, if I may speak, I think I can help answer your question about comparing pay to like what other firefighters are making in other departments. Just
Not
because.
on that side. I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry. You were talking about like our staff that isn't starting, how they compare to other places. Most other places have a similar system to us where it's a percentage-based steps, all based on that starting pay. So if your starting pay is lower, your other steps subsequently are going to be lower than somewhere where you started at a higher rate. Because pretty much all the neighboring departments that were, pretty much everyone on this list I know uses a percentage-based step and grade system similar to ours. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I would have expected that, but I guess my point is, we're not comparing apples to apples if we don't know and we're making assumptions.
What?
But and I guess I don't like some of the comparison communities. I do look at this and think, as I get closer, 2110 is kind of low pay for somebody that's going to go out and, save lives, whether it's in a fire or an accident or whatever.
Certainly a low pay for somebody that's going to go out for all the requirements that we require. Somebody's going to go out and work the hours with forced overtime, that we force these guys to work overtime. We force these people to see unseeable things. We force these people to do undoable things. And there's a high likelihood that they're going to get cancer in the process.
Yeah,
2.5 times more likely than the average American. So,
I just worry that our community, Northfield and Tilton, the district, you're asking people that aren't getting these kind of raises, that are, working at Walmart and Hobby Lobby to pay for this. That's my concern. So
They
that
want to
would
be,
really.
they want to be a firefighter, they can make that money too. I get it, but the thing that, and I think we touched on this earlier, is when we adjust the starting pay, that it adjusts everybody up. And that's my obstacle, because when I started working for the state, I became a manager of 2 people, and they both made more than me because they've been with the state longer. I didn't,
Yeah.
I came in at a manager's salary in step, say, 1 or 2, and they're at step 8 or 9, because they have already had a career, so I'm,
Right,
you know, it's just weird, but here, it's like, okay, if the entry-level person, the entry-level base person gets it, then everybody else moves up, I don't know. That's hard, but that's the part I gotta get my head around. I understand wanting to attract talent and retain talent, because that's a struggle in every
absolutely.
part of this segment of this job market, period, forget about hazardous duty. So,
And it's not impossible for a captain to leave and go somewhere else.
Anybody can leave and go
Right,
someplace else, I'm not sure where you.
because we hired a captain from Franklin, who came to our department as a firefighter. Because 2 years ago, the pay in Franklin was much worse than ours.
Every community is adjusting their rates for firefighters and police personnel because there's a shortage. So there's this competition going on.
right.
Our chief didn't think he was gonna be able to hire anybody at our rates, but he has. But then there's the problem of, as
Retention.
Jason said, retention.
Well, it's like the Franklin PD, right? That was the department, everybody got hired to work with Franklin PD, and then as soon as they got trained and certified, off they go.
Yeah, Northfield's struggling with similar situation,
Yeah.
like a training ground. I'm sorry, we're like a training ground.
But again, we have to ask our residents to pay for this. And it's-
I'd rather this not be a training ground. PD, no. Speeding tickets and retail theft and,
I mean, the other,
there's always the Second Amendment, you know, take care of ourselves.
you look at a couple of these too, and they do have CVAs, so CVAs allow it to be spread out over 3 years, which we're kind of asking to make the jump in 1 year, you know. I'm more of a fan of spreading it out, but in this system, you know, it's the whim of
Our hands
the
are a little bit
commissioner and
tied,
this and the
yeah.
district, so you can't really do that.
Yeah.
It seems like every year we keep making these big, you know, jumps and we're still not where we need to be, so I don't know. I kind of like the chief's idea, I ran the numbers real quick of what it would be if you do just the degrees, which I agree with you, I think that's a highly valuable thing to have. And I don't know of any firefighters that have PhD degrees, but they could, I suppose. Masters a lot, but master's degree would put them at 2688 to start, so you could put the posting at 2688, you know, and then I think we'd be in the window if we added just the college degree package right now. I think that would put us in a healthy middle range of, you know, 2572 if they have a BA. I haven't done the associates yet, but that's kind of where my head's at right now, is I think that might be how to bridge this.
What you're saying is use the incentives instead of an increase in base pay, or in addition to.
Well, in addition to 2338, we would, that would still be the base, that's what I'm doing all these numbers off of, but when you advertise it, you know, if they add a bachelor's degree, then they come in at 2572, because they have that 10%, and we just do the 5%.
I did the math on a degree, what it would cost if we gave that incentive to our employees, it would be $100,469.41.
What would be the cost per year?
Yes, that's including the retirement.
That's if everyone, is that if everyone got their degree?
No, that's for everybody that has a degree currently and where it would be. Not for new employees, because I don't know what our new employees are gonna have yet.
Most of them typically we're finding aren't having a degree, it's pretty rare that you have a college degree. You know, 10 years ago, everybody had an associate's degree, now it's like high school kids, that's what they're pushing right now at the, you know, in the high schools and the tech schools, it's just, you know, there's a handful of places that actually hire people that 6 months out of high school, they're full-timers, so
Yeah.
that's sort of the trend.
And then they go to the academy.
Yeah, some of them, yeah, they've increased their recruit school. You can literally come out of high school if you time it right, and like that fall, jump into recruit school, and then by that December, your market will get hired anywhere, so, you know, I think the odds of somebody having these would be a little bit lower, but still, for laterals, I think you'll attract a lot of qualified people if you put this in place compared to third 20 through 38. I think that's when, you know, you're gonna get just the people from high school, you know, that are new, where I think if we lean towards something like this, I think you may have a shot of attracting somebody that comes in here with all, you know, qualifications and experience.
So I'm looking at firefighter salary comparison report, 2022 basically. Commission approved. So you're looking at salaries of around 33, 34. Sorry, I was 3174, those are the two captains, another captain 3405. And then it goes 27, 24, 26, 26, 24, 20, 20, and then the chief. And the deputy chief at 44. And those are approximate because I don't know if this is what was accepted by the budget of last, what was accepted in the budget of 23.
I think the budget committee,
There was
it was
an,
a 7.5% raise. I think.
right, there was an increase.
Which was less than what I was asking for, because I'm always trying to strive to get to the middle at least.
I was just trying to get an idea of what the percentage would approximately do to the other wages. All right, any more discussion on this? What do you want to do with it?
I think Scott's got a valid point with respect to lateral movement by using the degree incentives, and I guess what I'd like to know is if we were to implement both the 10.8% raise and the incentives, what would the impact be on the budget?
That would be the next meeting.
I was gonna say, we can skip over this, you don't have
Yeah,
to
if
approve
we
it
make
tonight.
changes like that, I can't do it tonight.
No, I didn't expect you to,
I
Pat.
know.
You are Wonder Woman, but
I'm not that good.
that's pushing it.
Does everybody want to skip over it for tonight and look at it again? Next meeting?
What is it you would like me to do for the next meeting
Everybody?
as far as this
What do we
goes?
want for information?
So, I think, again, Scott's point is a valid one, that what I'd like to know is if we were to use the degree incentives, 5% for associates, 10% for bachelor's, 15% for master's, 20% for PhD, what would the impact be on the budget with our present staff?
With the 10.8%?
Yes, in addition to the 10.8.
Right.
100,000, 469.41.
But that doesn't include the retirement.
It does include retirement. Because without the retirement, $77,076.65.
Was it 100,000?
100,000, 469.41.
Please. That'll make my life easier. Thank you. All right, so. Yeah.
That's the retirement line, and that's what it is with retirement.
So this is the retirement line?
Yep.
Okay. And you factored everybody in?
Yes.
Okay.
So is there other incentive in this column? We're talking about?
Other incentives, yes. So when I did that, I asked them if they had other incentives, like dental. Well, I asked everybody for dental. Like or do they have other incentives, like for education and things like that? Like Laconia had a sign-on bonus, so that I had that as incentive as extra. Goffstown had a degree certification and incentive, and I think there was one other off the top of my head. Bedford, New Hampshire, yeah.
What about someone transfers in as swift water rescue, fine space, they get, or is it strictly based on education?
This is strictly based on education. If we did the certifications that everybody has, the net difference would be $150,004.17. If we did the 3% longevity for all our employees, it would be $120,011.94 at the 3% one, and the 1% one was $147,467.56.
Anybody else have information they want gathered on these salaries and wages? No? All right.
All right, so next time,
So we flip to the next
10.8%
page.
plus the degrees. Got it.
Is there a motion with it?
For what?
To adjourn?
It was just
No,
discussion.
no, I thought you made a motion to approve this.
No, we're skipping it.
Yeah.
No, but at the beginning, I thought to open up discussion.
No, we didn't start discussing it before we
Okay,
got into
that's
it.
fine. That's just the other one.
No.
Right, carry on.
Time we on the hook for tonight? I guess that's the question.
Page 6, is that where we're on?
Page 6.
Are you anticipating a lot more training, school training fees for this year coming in? Or is it just a low year?
So, I did a thing, who's going, so I put a thing out every year, who wants to do what for training? And they all sign up, and I decide what's good, what's not good, and stuff like that. And in the end, I come up with how many trainings are, and this also involves required trainings that we have, like EMT or paramedic recertifications, things like that, PALS, RSI stuff. And in the end, I came up with what was requested was $43,675 in training, and I approved $20,975 in training.
But in this year, you're running at like 40% of.
Yeah, we're going through all the EMT refresher stuff right now, so a lot of that stuff hasn't kicked in yet.
There was a significant change from 21 to 22 also.
Yes. 21 was the COVID year, and so a lot of the trainings were like mixed.
Is this included, is this the physical tuition or is this
not the overtime back, though, it's
Just
the
tuition.
tuition and materials. And if I ever get into tight spaces financially, this is the first place, I guess.
You never tell the budget committee that.
He tells us it every year.
It makes you smile.
And he's said it and he's done it, I think.
Yes, it has happened.
In your experience, what is does everybody do all their trainings, or what is the percentage of the trainings that actually take place? 30%, 70%, 80%?
Usually close to 80-85% ends up taking place, yeah. And there's new, different things that I'm trying to get succession planning going, and I'm sending guys to the National Fire Academy for executive fire officer training, things like that. I sent a couple of firefighters to New Hampshire's certified public manager training, so that when I leave, they know how to run an organization, a municipal organization. So these things cost money, and you want to be successful going forward. This doesn't count the training that we have on the side for like swift water rescue training, that we confined space training. That's just overtime money that we hit to maintain our skill level. And that's just included in the overtime budget. This is salaries and materials.
This is more professional training
Yes.
than performance.
Why is your cellular phones jumped up?
So we're using many more devices now, and
Tablets and stuff.
yeah.
Say it again?
They get tablets in addition to phones.
We only have 3 phones.
You all what?
We only have 3 phones. Everything else is computers and
Hotspots
Yes.
yes.
And the cell service provides the access to the tablets and whatnot?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
and we need those for people to sign up on, the electronic age.
Do you have an anticipated, you say you've got a bunch of EMT training coming up, do you have an anticipated number for the end of this year for the training?
I don't know the number of guys that need to research off the top of my head, because it's different every year, because everybody researches alternately. I don't know what the load is this year compared to next. So next year will be EMT recertifications. I have 7 EMT recertifications next year, and paramedic one just next year, or is it?
I think Nick and Zach are both on the odd year research cycle.
Yeah, so 2 paramedic recerts, and
Me, Matt, and Luke are restarting this year in March, so we did our refreshers. Luke and I did the Matt's guys coming up.
yeah.
There's who am I missing? Oh, O'Hara. I'm not
O'Hara.
sure what cycle he's on.
Yes.
I guess if you said you had 43,000 of potential training lineups, where does the 20,975 come from?
Comes from sending the Concord Hospital Trauma Conference. I'm sending around 12 people to go to that. Fire Department Incident Safety Officer Training, I'm allowing 1 person to go to that. The New England Division of the International Association of Fire Chiefs Conference, 1 person. The TNFD seminar that's in March, I'm allowing anybody who wants to go to that to go to that. The Seacoast Fire Chiefs Seminar, allowing 4 people to go to that. The FRI Conference down in Washington DC, letting 1 person go to that. The Primer Conference, 2 people as opposed to, or 2 people asked. New Hampshire NFHA, New Hampshire Fire Academy classes, allowing 2 people to go to that. Chief officer training, 1 person. The Municipal Association Conference, allowing 2 people to go to that. The Fire Chiefs Conference, New Hampshire Fire Chiefs Conference, allowing 1. Then the rest of paramedic certifications, ACLS certifications, PALS, CPR stuff. And I also have some money in there if we need to hire an outside instructor for our Monday trainings on an hourly rate.
Presently, you use staff to do the Monday training,
Not most of the time, yes.
and how much is that?
It's, well, the deputy, depends upon if we have them come in on overtime or not to do the training. We usually try not to do that. We're trying to save some money there.
But you're talking about sending it here on an outside contract.
If there's a special class that we want, say, like the gas company has a new thing going on, and we want to be trained on their new devices, gas company would do that, but if this, I'm trying to think of something where we would bring somebody else in, some new special thing, bango thing. we would
And
hire them.
how much was that?
I had $1,800 for that.
Well, I think if we were asked to, I guess for me, looking at this, right, what I want to do is, in my own mind, justify every expense, even if it's $1, and try to reduce it as much as possible. And it seems that $1,800 for the outside contractor to come in and do training is probably something that we could eliminate. We have, especially if we have people on staff who are capable of performing that training. I guess I'll make a motion that we reduce line 335, school training and fees, by $1,800 to $19,175.
I'll second that.
Where are you?
Top of 6.
335.
Where we died.
So, isn't all of this under fire
No.
on page 8? Total fire?
Yes, actually it is.
Yeah.
But the salaries are in there too.
Good point. So now we're gonna
We're
approve,
just gonna pick off some lines.
oh, we could wait and just approve the bottom line when we're done in fire.
I think when all is said and done, this column, the budget committee's budget needs to be populated with numbers.
Correct.
What is it?
I think when all is said and done, this column right here, which is 2024 Budget Committee's budget, needs to be populated with numbers, every line.
Yeah, we gotta do those subcategories anyway. The other areas were subcategories that we went through and agreed.
What was the amount?
19,175,
Thank you.
backed out 1,800.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, I lost you. What section are you approving?
335, school training fees.
Top of page 6.
One line.
It's a one-liner.
I am.
The very top line.
335. You said 336, right?
Thought I said
335.
I got 335. And you're approving it for how much?
$19,175.
I'm proposing that we reduce it by the $1,800.
Okay.
Third party.
That's the part I missed. Oh, but I didn't want to interrupt you, even though I couldn't hear you.
Okay.
When you were discussing.
Should I sit on the other ear?
No, no, that's okay.
She's one of the homes.
This building in particular really affects my
Yeah.
whole being. All right, we have a motion on the table. Everybody understands what it is? Yes? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay.
We have one nay. Any abstentions?
Nay.
Another nay. 2 nays. Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right, moving right along. Telephone.
You know, they're pretty fixed, right? There's not much we can, that is what it is, so I think motion, that we approve 341 for the 14,430.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Information technology.
That again is pretty much fixed.
It's the computer hardware, is that basically 2 new PCs?
2 new PCs and, is it the fire, the switch?
Yes.
The switch, we have to replace our switch.
What's a switch?
It's a thing that everything plugs into, like in a computer room.
It's an Ethernet hub.
Oh, okay.
It's managed. That's what I can tell you about it.
You know, the state is always selling that stuff really cheap.
But we can't buy the old used crap, we have to buy the new stuff because the old crap is how people get into your stuff because
Oh, no, we have 10.
We don't have time.
with mainstay.
He does amazing things.
So the Vector Solutions schedule and payroll support, so that's software that Kathy uses.
Everybody uses it.
What is the encumbered funds under QuickBooks?
There aren't any.
Well, it's in parentheses.
That
Oh,
was
that's
from
because
last year.
last year there was encumbered funds in there.
Oh,
Not this year,
crossing that out.
So we have to show the line for 3 years.
unless I can take it away.
I'm used to Tim putting explanations in underneath like that. I'm sorry, QuickBooks hosting.
So we just went through a security audit with Primex, the state, CISA, Computer Information Safety something. And our mainstay is our internet,
Security.
IT provider. And some of the things they said that we're changing from .org to a .gov. That'll probably happen in the second half of next year, and we're using a state grant to do that, so that won't cost us anything. And the switch thing was the other thing that they came up with, that it's at the end of its supported life, and so that needs to be changed out. And we do, all the PCs and laptops get changed out after 5 years of age.
I'll make a motion to approve $40,979 for information technology.
Are you a second?
Second.
Is it a yes down there with you?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes, it is.
I couldn't hear you that time.
All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Medical services.
So physicals of new employees and current employees.
5 new employees.
Well,
Call members.
call members and stuff like that, so hopefully we'll get 5, because we're dropping in numbers in there, we're trying to recruit, so. It's more and more difficult though.
I'll make a motion to approve 13,860 on medical services.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Wait. So in 2022, it was significantly less, it was only 60% of what you're asking for this year, and last year it was significantly less. What I'm looking at specifically is the new employees. I guess, why do you feel that next year will be more than this year?
More than what we've used this year?
Yes.
I'm hoping we have 5 employees that run through a new physical next year. And that mostly be called folks. Hopefully none of my career staff will leave. That requires an employee exam too. So we're sending somebody on Tuesday for a new employee exam. That's not recorded here yet.
Okay. I just want to make sure that the $3,000 is, that's a basis behind it. It's not just hopeful. Okay, thank you.
You good?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, all those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the ayes carry. And then now, background checks and printing.
Professional services.
There's nothing there. Oh, there's a dollar.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve 390 for about.
Second.
About that.
50 cents.
We gotta cut somewhere.
You're not gonna have them including the other two.
We cut this thing.
What is the CMCR fees? What does that stand for?
Central Maine.
Something recovery.
Central Maine cost
Cost recovery.
recovery.
Yes.
That's in hiatus right now because of their difficulty in dealing with some of the New Hampshire law, so it's on hold.
They're working on it.
So should that $1 be shifted down one row, or is it?
No, it's good with
It'll
it.
cover both.
Anybody?
What?
Did you make a motion?
I did.
He did, and
For the
Charlie
dollar?
seconded.
Yeah.
You didn't include the other two? All right, all those in favor of the motion to table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Background checks and printing.
What about background checks, 392? Make a motion to accept line 392 at $520.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it.
Are you anticipating more printing for this year?
Checks.
Probably not this year, but next year. And I know that they've ordered some printing from the
The prison.
prison, but I don't know if the bill is coming yet, off the top of my head.
Anybody else?
Where did 500 come from?
It's been 500 since I've been here.
Yeah, in 2022, spent 52. 2023, we're at only 40% of that.
It's one of those things, like, most of it's like when we have to pay for the special checks. And the check's usually good for a couple of years till we run out of checks and then we have to print more. Those are the more expensive things. The stuff from the prison, not so, it's expensive as just checks. Checks are more
We're gonna have to
expensive
order
than
envelopes next year too.
I think security issues are printed on this. Trying to get everybody to do everything through electronics, no checks.
But envelopes we have to order next year to get them printed with our name and return cards.
Do you think that'll be $500 for the envelopes, or?
No, that's a combination of everything.
Kind of, yeah, it looks like, other than that 1 year we were above, I mean, I'd almost like to see it potentially get cut to 250. And,
Make a motion.
I make a motion to cut printing to 250.
Any discussion?
Well, my discussion, again, I would ask the chief, do you think you can get away with $250 for printing, whereas you spent less than 200 so far this year?
I can order some stuff this year.
Oh, yeah. So I know we need checks next year, order them this year.
Yeah.
Envelopes order them this year.
I'm gonna, okay.
There you
Problem solved.
go.
Kathy, you're the woman.
Good to know.
All right, any more discussion of the motion on the table? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Nice carry. All right. Dues and subscriptions. So how come we haven't spent any of 2023?
Thought they were due at the end of the year.
Not all the renewals are in.
But all of them come due at the end of,
No, we've spent $3,864 so far of the
So
$4,430.
you're not showing where.
Second page, turn page.
I know
Top
that,
of the page.
but you still have nothing in there.
but there's nothing in the column
There's a total
at the bottom.
at the bottom.
So, right, it doesn't help us to know what was spent and what wasn't.
Yeah, you, what was that spent on?
Why is it only, I don't know why it's like showing up like that.
Did you use invisible ink?
Evidently. I
Apparently-
did.
Apparently we need to add more money back to the printing budget so we can have ink for that little section.
Oops.
I mean, it's almost doubled if you look at 21 and 22.
Oh, well, we're adding,
Maybe not 50%, maybe more like 35%.
so next year we're adding the Hasselberg into subscription. And these are devices that are put in the emergency vehicles that send out a signal through the internet to your iPhone, you know, for roads and maps. If you have certain cars, it comes up on your radio. It lets you know that we're coming up behind you, or you're behind us, so it alerts you to us moving, so you're aware that because of the way the cars are, newer cars are built, they can't hear our sirens and things. Or if we're on the highway, we stop by the side of the road, this alerts the cars with newer technology, phones, maps, Waze stuff. It alerts those people who say, oh, there's a traffic accident up here on the right, before you get there, before you have to jump on the brakes.
Or so you can take a detour?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So like if you were using Waze, it would say, traffic jam here. They suggest you. Like if you're any Chrysler products, Stellantis, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, they all have this stuff all built into their cars. I don't know if GM or Ford does yet, but they're every year they're making more agreements with the auto manufacturers to get this
So a small percentage of the population will be able to take advantage of this, is what you're telling me.
The advantage is to us. Help protect us, not the other, not the.
No, also if you're using Google Maps or Waze on your phone, those things will still pop up.
Yeah.
They do.
I'm sorry.
I know you
So
might
99%
not.
of the population besides Catherine that uses navigation, it'll pop up.
But when you're driving, you're not using that. When you're driving,
It
Wait,
speaks
is
to
it
you.
called distracted driving?
It
Or
speaks
should-
to
It it talks to you. It tells you verbally.
It tells you.
When you go 100, when you go 60, when to cover your beer, it's good information. That's what.
Watch out. Watch out, we're ahead. Yeah, watch out.
My car starts stalking me, I'm gonna tell you when I'm gonna switch to my tractor.
A lot of tow companies are putting this into effect for their tow operators as well. Because
So how does it protect you? Because you're moving, trying to move cars that are in front of you, not behind you.
No, but
So you can
if they're-
see the traffic in
If
front
they're at
of
an
you.
accident down, say, between exit 19 and 18,
Yeah,
it's going southbound, people that are coming down 93 are gonna get an alert that there's an incident ahead and they should move over.
about a mile, on the highway,
Yes.
it's about a mile. Just when you reach about a mile away from where
I
the
see.
thing is, it gives you a warning.
So we don't have another accident where a fire truck is rear-ended.
Or like down in Merrimack was this past week. Fire truck.
Did it?
I think it was driving. I don't know.
All right. So it would be interesting to know what was actually spent, because
Can you populate those
For next time,
stuff for next meeting?
I will, yes.
Thank you.
why do you have to pay a notary public?
Pay to get, become one.
It's my,
In
it's the renewal.
recertification.
Oh, it's a renewal, okay, I was gonna say.
Yes.
Do you guys wanna wait, to have the actuals filled in before we vote on it? All
The
right.
rest of them seem to be, but that's entirely up to you.
Office supplies, data destruction, wow.
Can we, well, we gotta make a motion first, right? Make a motion, we accept line 620 at $3,000.
You reducing it?
No.
No, you're not
You
including
didn't
data
include the
destruction.
620.5.
Total office supplies, do you wanna do total office supplies?
We can do total office supplies, category 620 for $31.50.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Yes. So we're at 1,500, we've used $1,650 less this year than was appropriated. Can we buy office supplies this year, as Kathy previously stated, using the $1,459 that's left over from this year's budget? And reduce next year's budget by that same amount?
We can try.
No, I'm asking Kathy and the chief.
We should be able to accomplish some of that.
Yeah, we can buy more paper,
Yes, we can.
pens,
We don't have storage space though for paper.
I know.
We can put it in your office.
Make a motion that we,
We line the floor with it, so I can just be higher.
Insulation.
I know.
make a motion that we reduce line 620 of that from 3,000 to,
Hold on, don't we have a
We
motion
have
on
a
the
motion
table?
on the
We have a
floor.
motion on the table.
So you have to,
3150, so we can vote that down and start over, or you can rescind your motion and whoever seconded it can rescind that.
well, let's follow proper procedure.
I'm sorry?
Let's follow proper procedure, so we'll vote on what the motion was, I guess.
Well, either one will work. All right,
Yeah.
all those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Nay. Abstain? All right, motion fails. Yeah,
I make a motion that we fund line 620 at $1,459, which is the balance carried over from this year.
Second.
1459?
$1,459, going with,
Go ahead, discussion.
The other thing, that's only through October, so you still have 2 months in there, Paul?
this is only through when?
October? You still have 2 months of supply, I don't know if you average it out, it would be $300.
so just do,
It's peanuts either way.
Yeah.
Just run with
Yeah.
it.
Anybody?
so what was the amount?
1459,
1459.
can you make that work, Kathy?
I guess,
I suspect there will be money left over in the budget to cover it.
does that include the data destruction?
No.
Just line 620.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, data destruction.
The motion, we fund line 620.1, data destruction at $150.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, postage.
Oh, yeah.
I make a motion to accept 500 for 625, line item 625.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. So the next 3 pages is all in,
The apparatus and equipment.
Except for
No,
gas.
635 and 636.
Right.
diesel and
Middle
gasoline.
page 8.
Gas and diesel,
Middle page 8.
yep, gas and diesel. But the repairs, the service testing,
yes,
and equipment maintenance and repairs.
yes, they've only moved
They moved to the,
apparatus and equipment.
All right, page 8, line 635 gasoline and line 636 diesel.
Make a motion, we fund line 635, gasoline at $7,000.
Second.
I'm sorry, what was the motion?
We fund line
7,000.
635, gasoline at $7,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
Charlie,
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Good, I'm sorry.
So this year we've used 4,300. Do you think that 7,000 could be reduced? And if we don't buy another Dodge, or do you think the gasoline budget would be decreased?
Coming from a Ford guy.
Who needs a Hemi in the Durango, honestly?
can you tell me what gasoline prices
I
are?
have no idea, but I see that we spent significantly less this year than what's appropriated, and I don't want to carry that mistake to the next year, to the next year, to the next year.
So last year, a full year was 7,466. The year before that, the COVID year was 5,743. I think we'll probably end up this year, we'll probably end up at $5,300, maybe, depending upon what gas prices. They've been going down lately, but I don't know what they're gonna do. Depends upon who goes to war next.
Yeah, well, I'd like to fund it adequately, but I don't want to just select a number because it's convenient.
The actual for gasoline in 2020 was 3,518. The actual for 2019 was 4,094. If that helps.
And that was when it was like $2 a gallon.
Looking at it, so maybe we cut it to 6, it might still provide.
It was $2 a
It's
gallon.
almost what I wish we could have what the actual gallons consumed were and the average
That's,
price.
I was just gonna say that. Thank you. Yes, you're right.
Because the volatility in the market, I mean, I would say delicately that we probably use the same fuel amount roughly every year within.
So if you were to extrapolate the 4376 over the entire year, it would be 5834. So I agree with Scott that we should be able to reduce that to 6 and still have a bit of a cushion.
You don't want to take it out of the trains, please.
If we have approximately the same pieces, number of, yeah, I can't talk, sorry.
Yes,
Pieces of equipment.
everything's the same.
All right, so where are we at?
We're at a motion to fund it at 7. And the discussion was to reduce it to 6. The discussion was to reduce it to 6,000. But there's a motion for the 7.
Everybody on page? All right. All those in favor of the motion on the table, which is currently to fund gasoline at $7,000, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Abstained.
I make a motion that we fund line 635 at $6,000.
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed and abstained, motion carries. Diesel,
Let's discuss it before we make a motion.
Okay.
well, that's what I'm used to, but
As long as it's
everybody
legal.
else wants
As
to.
long as it's legal, Kat.
You can discuss anything you want.
Yeah.
anytime you want.
Jesus got big fluctuation.
Yeah.
It's still pretty high right
So diesel,
Does that include your debt fluid too?
No,
No,
that comes under
Is that the maintenance line?
maintenance.
No.
So if we were to extrapolate the 17,824 of this year to 12 months, it would be 23,765, which is still almost 5,000, well, 4,300 less than the commissioners. And significantly less than the 39,000 from last year.
and you got 2 months left.
Well, I kind of extrapolated that over the
Did you?
entire year.
And what'd you come up with?
23,765. 0.4, 0.5.
We have a motion?
I make a motion for diesel for 24,000.
Second now.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Fund,
Books and periodicals on the top of page 9.
so we just have the one now.
First responder newspaper.
Yep.
Is that just like a trade, monthly trade magazine?
It is.
Make a motion, we fund line 670, books and periodicals at $85.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Department awards.
So we've got quite a discrepancy between actual and appropriated for this year. Can some of
We
that,
haven't had the
Yeah.
award ceremony
Awards,
yet.
yeah.
you haven't,
It's December 7th.
right, but you haven't purchased any of those
No.
awards? Yes?
Oh, no, we don't have to vote for any of them.
21.
Oh, okay.
21 was so COVID.
I'm gonna hate that word.
You and me both.
You coming?
Yes, I am. I was going to tell Kathy before the evening was over. I guess I'm just surprised that you haven't stocked up on them.
We haven't, we don't have the bills.
Okay. Do you know what the bills are?
No. No.
Pretty close to 22. It's pretty much dead on.
Yeah, we'll be close.
Department awards, anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve line 680 for $3,000.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Which is what?
3,000.
3,000.
3,000.
In the awards thing?
Yes.
680.
Yep.
You coming, Jason?
You have to come.
Did we get a vote?
Do I still get to vote?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Of course you can vote.
Okay.
Call question? Or did I just blow that?
You didn't.
Sorry.
Sorry, me that.
Oh, maybe.
Everybody was in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Jeez. Okay.
I just want a commitment to, I just try to make sure I'm committing to the right thing. I want to say aye.
Yep.
So not just taking an RCP or.
We're gonna,
If I knew you would be here.
uniforms.
Yeah, that's where your money goes. I know that.
What they gotten in 22, 14, is that the safer crew that came in?
22.
That's up, the uniforms up higher than the surrounding ones?
The amount is usually, yeah, that's what it was. We added
Didn't we buy Class A for somebody that year too?
yeah.
A couple of those?
No, this is not turnout gear, this is dress shirts and pants, right?
This is kind of like what I'm wearing right now, plus the sweatshirts and boots and all that kind of stuff. Jackets. They get an allowance. Each man gets a $600 allowance.
Oh, and that's what 1080
Yeah.
equals that to.
Yeah.
And when do they wear these uniforms?
When you're at work.
Daily utilities.
Whenever they're not on call, right? When they're on call.
Well, they
they
wear
wear-
underneath, like going to a fire call, they would put their other stuff over this stuff. Ambulance call, wear this and a
make a motion, we fund line 685.01 at $10,800.
Can we just do the total and, oh, I'm sorry,
Remember the total?
Yes,
if everybody's cool with
if
it.
you can do 685, then you have 14,050 unless you want to change it.
The only thing I'm looking at is the call company uniforms.
It's gonna get them sweatshirts or jackets or something, and keeps getting, push that down the road a little bit.
Yeah, but we spent 543 this year.
So far.
Yeah, so far. The problem with uniforms, they spend most of their money on uniforms in the last couple of months of the year for some particular reason.
2022, you only spent about 690 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put in a bunch of salary too, and didn't spend that either. Have that conversation one month.
Yeah, so
Just saying.
a lot of our call companies aging, you know, 3 of them over 60 years of
Are you
age.
saying they're outrolling their t-shirts?
Not gonna go back.
I think if we cut that out.
Well, now that they're PhDs.
And we just lost 2.
Sorry, Scott?
Well, I think if we cut that down to just 1,000, so if we make that total for 685 to 13,050, if that's how we want to do it, instead of doing all of them individually, that would be my motion.
So you'd be changing 685.02 to 1,800?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were cutting it to 1,000. 5,000.
So you're down to
I mean,
1,800, so take 1,000 off, so you got what,
So 1,800.
13,050 for a total now?
Correct.
Yeah.
We second that.
You seconding the 1,800 or the
I'm seconding
13,050?
Scott's motion to reduce it by $1,000 to 13,050.
Okay,
That is
so we're voting on 13,050.
correct. That was your motion, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
And you gave the second vote?
And I'm seconding that, yes.
Okay. All those, everybody understand the motion on the table? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Make a motion, we fund line 690 at $1.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right. We've done total fire. Do you guys
No,
want
you
to?
have dry hydrants.
Cisterns, 775, make a motion, we fund dry hydrants and cisterns, another $2,000.
no second.
That's just the maintenance portion,
Yeah.
the inspection.
Oh, I'm
Repairs,
sorry.
maintenance, inspections.
Okay. It was bold. I was putting it down in the next category.
So that's not increasing the number.
This is just regular maintenance.
Inspections, maintenance, and
The
repairs.
diver and whatever's broken.
No repairs. Oh, it includes repairs.
Includes
Okay,
repairs.
Just no new ones.
No new ones.
Yeah, that's
That's
the new ones is a different bucket.
Right.
Well, are they all done for the year? Is that 349 going to stand for this year, you think?
I think so, I'm not sure. I'd have to talk to Steve.
Or is there anything that he recommends for this coming budget cycle as far as repairs or anything like that?
So when we'll do the inspections, and then, did they even do the inspections yet?
I don't,
I haven't seen that come
haven't
across the
seen
desk.
that. No.
I have to talk to Steve. I don't think they've done it yet.
I think they were concentrating this year on installing the new dry hydrants,
Yeah.
getting those in the ground. Because I know we've got 1 or 2 that are out of service.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah,
Hydrants?
dry hydrants.
Dry hydrants.
Oh.
I don't know if they'll get, depends on King Partridge too.
Yeah, it's availability.
Do you have 2020s on your list for what we did in that line item? I think 2021 is 0, I'm just curious what 2020 is.
Page 9.
This is I punched through page 9.
$2,250.
That is correct.
Okay.
All right.
Where are we?
Discussion.
775.
Still,
What are we doing?
Discussion for 775.
Right, but is anybody,
Wait, leave it in there. Drop it.
So motions for 2,000.
I can-
motion is 2,000? I mean, why is 2,000?
Right.
I thought you wanted to reduce it.
I was expecting that.
I'll amend.
All right, I will amend my motion for 775 and up to $1,000.
Second?
Yep.
All right, we have a motion on the table for line 775, dark items and cisterns for $1,000. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? One opposed. Abstentions? None. Okay, so,
Make a motion to adjourn.
You don't wanna do all these ones?
my next question, you guys, 2 hours is usually plenty.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So,
That's what I was stuck for.
everybody have a request for any extra information, and if you think of something outside the meeting, you can still ask for it because it's not a discussion.
And, I'm sorry, Pat? I'm sorry.
If you think of some more information you want, just send an email, make sure you CC the budget committee, because, and then don't discuss it in your email, just
Oh,
ask
please
for
don't,
it.
just ask.
So that's okay.
I'd like to ask the chief for a copy of the training schedule and also the matrix for the proposed incentives, how much the proposed incentives for college degrees, how that breaks down based on the salary range that you have now. Like, for instance,
Who's second the motion?
You mean like,
I think you already answered. I did. Yeah.
I don't know.
460.
Second.
Yeah, so I'm good with that. Thank you.
I'd like to see it per employee too, you don't have to put names, but like, if you could put like firefighter all the way through chief as far as like with that education incentive, what they really.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't put names, but just rank.
And I guess if I could just ask the chief one of the things to think about, and that's that with respect to wages and salaries, if you were to, what we've been discussing is actually two increases. One is a base increase and the other is a potential incentive. And what I'd like to ask you is if you were to select one or the other, which is more important to you as far as maintaining your staff? And you don't need to answer that tonight, next meeting is fine. But just think about, you know, if you could only get one of those two, which would it be?
What's the salary increase?
Only the three.
Because that's just playing ball with everybody that's being competitive.
Mm-hmm. Then our next meeting is when?
December 4th, it will be at Tilton Town Hall
At 5 o'clock.
at 5 a.m. Yes, 5 p.m.
All right, anything else? All those in favor of the motion on the table to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye. I don't know why you do that, because it's not good. And
Because
there is a way of adjourning without voting.
you just say it is.
I mean, it's a thing you do, it's just never do it. Molecules or, I used to have my book.
Very well.